Construction stations.
Hello, my name is Geogen and welcome to World of Warships. Today we are looking at the Tier 4 Premium Light Cruiser, the Yubari, which is a Japanese premium cruiser, as I said. And it's quite an interesting cruiser. It doesn't have many guns. It only has two turrets with two dual-mounted weapon, 140mm, I believe, mounted in the rear of the ship and the front of the ship. I'm not a naval expert, I keep forgetting the terms. Anyhow, we begin the game on the map New Dawn. It's a domination game, and initially I completely messed this up. I wasn't really paying attention, and even though I'm in a maneuverable cruiser, I appear to sail straight into an island and I have to spend some time reversing. However, at least this isn't a battleship and it reverses relatively quickly. The strengths of the Yubari aren't in its artillery, and even its torpedoes aren't the most effective. It does have highly damaging torpedoes. However, the arc of the torpedo launch, if that makes sense, isn't very wide. What the Yubari is good at, though, is its AA armaments, and it has hundreds of, well, it feels like hundreds of 25mm AA. And I'm going to try and use this AA to try and help this Tier 4 battleship, the Myogi. The Myogi is a capable battleship, but it isn't very good at AA defense. And we can see that on the enemy team there is a Hosho Tier 4 Japanese aircraft carrier. And this aircraft carrier is going to send a lot of waves of attack aircraft to try and sink us. So I'm going to try and stick as close as possible to the Myogi. Myogi is firing at a vessel at an extreme range, 16-17 kilometers. It's unlikely those shells will hit. Now, I'm only going at 3/4 speed because I want to keep close to the Myogi. I don't want to go at completely full speed because, as you can see, I am now over-accelerating him and I will go too far. I do not want to be the first ship spotted. Let's speed it up a little bit because it's just getting into position. We are approaching Capture Zone C and we are taking some fire. Luckily, because I sped up, the fire coming in from those Wyoming-class battleships did not hit me at all. I opened fire to try and do some high explosive damage, try and set the ships on fire, try and damage core and critical components. I won't do any citadel penetrations with these rounds, only 140mm in caliber, and the enemy ships are quite well armoured. The aircraft carrier, however, has been spotted at a range of 17 kilometers, which means I can't attack him, but maybe our own aircraft carrier will, or aircraft carriers. There's another vessel that's actually no wait, it's still the same Wyoming. There are two Wyomings and a Kawauchi inbound, as well as that Hosho in the background. Now, the issue is, I've sailed too far ahead of this Wyoming, and even though we have quite a lot of AA, yes, here are some torpedoes, and you can see very briefly there that the arc of torpedo launch isn't very good. We get hit for quite a large amount of damage, and now you see there's two torpedo squadrons coming in, and I'm not close enough to try and help him. I am shooting down some of these aircraft, but we only managed to damage several and shoot one down. And the Myogi loses half of his health, which is unfortunate. If we were a bit closer, we would have been able to do a lot more damage to those torpedo bombers. Instead, we are trying to avoid the fire coming in from that Wyoming, because we know that he can critically damage a lot of our ship very quickly. We only have 18,000 hit points, which is quite low considering we're fighting battleships, which I believe have, yes, 43,000 hit points. The Myogi, my mission to help him has not been very successful. And he goes down. I wouldn't have been able to shield him from the fire from the Wyoming, but I should have been a bit closer to him to make full use of the AA. Now, like I say, the AA on this ship is... there's a lot of it, but it's quite a limited range, so you have to use your maneuverability to try and get closer to ships which need your support. In the meantime, though, you can pepper them with quite a high rate of fire with these 140mm guns, as we are doing so now. The rotation speed, like many Japanese ships, however, of the turrets, is not very good, and you have to wait quite a long time. Excuse me. Now you can see that I'm trying to get some more torpedoes out, but the arc is so narrow, it's very hard. You have to essentially broadside your opponents, and we slow down anticipating that fire coming in from the Kawachi. And that Kawachi is pretty much screwed. There's friendly torpedoes coming in. He's on critical health, and there are several ships here. Well, 4 ships even. We launched our torpedo spreads, and these torpedoes are very good if they hit the target. They're quite fast, and they do a lot of damage. But again, the narrow arc, as I keep reminding you, is very, very poor. And our torpedoes, unfortunately, do not kill the Kawachi. But maybe if he had a bit more hit points and sailed forward still, I think the one on the far left there would have hit him. So we've killed 3 of the enemy, and they've killed 2 of us. We've lost a destroyer and a battleship, the Myogi. And they've lost a battleship, a cruiser, and a destroyer. So we're in a decent enough position. However, as this is a domination game mode, it's about flag control, about zone control. And A and B control... A and B is in control of the enemy right now. Or the enemy has control. I am struggling with English today. We retain hold of C, however, where we are now. And there are more torpedo bombers inbound. We take some fire. Sorry, we take a single shot at them. Because I think we, as well as having 25mm, we have... yeah, we have this gun towards the front here. Just in front of the main turret. Which I believe acts as a anti-aircraft gun. Or a dual-purpose gun. You can't control it. And now there's a lot of us here, and we're all firing at that Hosho, the aircraft carrier, because he's got himself in a bad situation. Look at that. Fire going into him. He's on half health, and he won't survive that much longer, I doubt. He is launching more, or is trying to launch more torpedoes at us, but his fate is pretty much sealed. He manages to get 2 more away, and we hit him with some fire. 2 torpedo bombers have launched their torpedoes, and there's a lot of AA here. And we're still firing at him with that 120 gun. There are attack aircraft intercepting. And we continue our assault. The enemy team has lost half of their ships, and we have lost another ship. We set on fire one of the Wyomings in front of us. I decide to focus on the left Wyoming, as he's on lower health. Now you see this HE damage isn't very high, but if we try and set him on fire as much as possible, we'll be able to do more damage than what our AP shells would ever do. Especially since the buff to HE shells from cruisers. And I think all types of ships fire better HE ammunition now. I decided to switch to this other Wyoming for some reason, but then back to the lower health one. And I don't know if I noticed that there's... yes, I do notice, in fact. I'm not as slow as I think. The St. Louis there. And we pepper in with high explosive. We could be firing AP, but high explosive is loaded, and it's mostly effective against all targets. Mostly. That other Wyoming has taken a huge amount of damage from artillery fire as well as torpedo strikes, and he goes down. We're now winning 510 to 400, but they still retain control of A and B flag. And we're still firing at the Southern Wyoming. We don't secure the kill. We've been doing a lot of assistance damage, which is fine. Now I could go around the island like this Kuma classes, but I decided to head round the back. With this good speed and maneuverability, I might as well make use of it. We're going at 33 knots. And the St. Louis is preoccupied with the Kuma in front of him. And as you can see, he is reversing very slowly backwards. I get ready with a torpedo spread. Might as well use them. Narrow arc. We fire one. And re-angle. And we fire the second. The second looks alright. We hit him with a lot of damage for HE. Surprising. But the Kuma avenges him. Sorry, he doesn't avenge himself. He gets revenge for the on the St. Louis for killing him. So now there's only 3 enemy ships versus our 6. However, the spawn area where our team spawned is now being attacked by a destroyer and a St. Louis. The St. Louis, however, if you can see that, is on 64 hit points, which is very low indeed. The destroyer is more of a concern, as he will easily destroy our aircraft carriers if he has the chance, which we're basically giving him right now. Regardless, we still continue sailing into Area B. And we fire at St. Louis as he's in range. First shell misses. Second one lands and does 64 minimal damage. But that's still a kill. We are capturing B as we're doing this. Now, the battleship has made himself apparent. And it's a full health Wyoming. I don't think he is fully upgraded though, because he has slightly less hit points than the others that we saw before. But he still hits us for a large amount of damage. What are we going to do here, do you think? Well, considering he's a battleship and he isn't the most maneuverable, even though American battleships are more maneuverable than their Japanese counterparts, we decided to fire torpedoes. Might as well use them if we got them. And the second spread there is slightly better angled, I think, than the first. And we go behind this island for more cover. Now the destroyer is an issue. He's already sunk one of our aircraft carriers and the other one is running. We managed to hit one of our torpedoes, taking him down to around 30,000 hit points. I'm not sure if he's popped his repairs. Yes, he has. He's popped his repairs. And I would if I was him too. This destroyer is now giving me trouble. We get hit and our steering is damaged. We have to repair that to avoid the Wyoming's fire. I don't really think much of this destroyer. It's not really a huge threat to me. That Wyoming is more of the threat. But we still managed to get some good fire into the destroyer, which is an Umikaze, which is Tier 2 destroyer. Tier 2 Japanese destroyer, the first in the game for the Japanese. We keep it up with this great rate of fire, but we're quite ineffective with our weapons. We get hit, and unfortunately it's the end for us, even though we tried avoiding his fire. What I should have done is weaved a bit more, but that is the end for the Yubari class cruiser. Not the end of the game, however. There's 4 of us versus 1 battleship, and this ends up being a win. I won't bore you with the end of the game. It's just our remaining ships battering this last battleship to death. Let's look at the post-game results screen. So we gained 127,000 credits, 2,000 experience, first win of the day, and some free experience. We managed to only hit one of our torpedoes, only shot down one aircraft, which is a shame because we should have gone closer to our friendly ships and used our numerous AA capabilities. We managed to sink a very, very, very damaged cruiser, I think it was the St. Louis. We did some fire damage and caused flooding with that torpedo hit. Anyhow, the Yubari, if any of you watching don't own one, is quite a fun ship to play. It does have its drawbacks, like I say, the torpedoes, the lack of actual artillery, but the artillery it does have is quite effective, but you would prefer to have more of it, wouldn't you? And the AA armament is a good selling point of this. It's just you need to be a bit more you need to stick to vessels on your team a bit more closely. So that was the Yubari Tier 4 Japanese premium cruiser, and quite an enjoyable cruiser to play, if I say so myself. Anyhow, this has been World of Warships. I've been Geogen, as always. I'll see you chaps and chapettes in the next one.